everybody, it's Emily at Arg Schooling, and today I want to talk about ratings. I know I filmed a video very similar to this, probably a year or two ago, and I want to talk about it again because I feel like I've been re-evaluating how I rate books. Especially since I've been using Storygraph, which gives me the option of half stars. And that has kind of changed the way I think about my ratings. In the past, I was very, straightforward about it, especially in the last couple of years. I feel like I've been very generous in my ratings because I don't like being negative about books, because I feel like, what if that's someone's favorite book? Like, I don't want to be shitting on someone's favorite thing. So I don't generally give really low, if I'm really disliking a book, I'll just quit. Like, occasionally I will fight my way through a book in the hopes that it improves. But generally speaking, I'm pretty generous in my ratings. And I feel like this year I've started rethinking that. Not that I want to give books poor ratings, that's not what I mean, but I want to be more introspective and more honest in my feelings about books, because I feel like, especially this last year, I had a rough year, and I feel like I gave books 5 stars when maybe I didn't really, but in the moment I was like, well, I liked it, so it's 5 stars. But when I went back at the end of the year to do my favorite books of the year, and I looked at the things that I'd given 5 stars, I was like, but was that 5 stars? I kind of wanted to go back and change some of my ratings. And so here's the thing. I think I'm embracing the half star a whole lot more going forward, because I feel like not every book is exactly a 3. Not every book is exactly a 4. And, so I wanted to give you some examples of what kind of things I'm talking about. So generally speaking, I don't give books lower than a 2 star. If it's lower than a 2 star, I'm not even going to talk about it. I don't want to, I'm going to pretend that does not exist. I either won't finish it or I just don't care. But 2 stars is low for me. That's a bad book. I can only think of a few books that I've given as low as a 2 star. But generally speaking, if I finish a book, I made it through the whole book. I was compelled to do that because I am very unlikely to finish a book if I'm not enjoying it, because I just don't have time for that. I don't have the attention span for that. So what I mean is, for example, Just Like Mother by Anne Heltzel. You guys heard me rant about that book a lot last year. I did not enjoy it. But I gave it a 2.75, and that is because I was compelled to finish it. I wanted to know where it was going to go. I did not enjoy where it went. I wasn't happy about the outcome. But, I have to reflect on the fact that I finished it because I was curious. It was well written enough that I was interested in finishing. So therefore, it's not a 3 at all. It doesn't make it to a 3. A 3 means that it was good. It wasn't good, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever read. So I have to be somewhere in between a 2 and a 3. And so I gave that a 2.75. But sometimes a book is a solid 3, but sometimes it's a little bit better. And when I say a solid 3, a 3 is not a bad review for me. I think a 3 is a pretty decent review. If I'm giving a book a 3, it means that I liked it. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it necessarily. It just, maybe it was a little bit forgettable. Maybe it's a book that I've read that trope enough that it didn't really work for me as well, but there was nothing wrong with it. So sometimes I'll give a book a 3 in a quarter stars. Salt and Broom is a good example of this. Salt and Broom was a book that I know other people have enjoyed, and that I can understand why they enjoyed it. It just didn't really do much for me. For me, Jane Eyre is an absolute favorite book of all time, and when you're gonna say you're doing a Jane Eyre retelling, I need more from it than what this book gave me. But it wasn't bad, so I gave it 3 1/4 stars. And A 3.5, for example, was Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. That book was super duper weird, like the weirdest thing I think I've ever read. It had some really disturbing scenes in it, but like it wasn't bad. Would I read it again? No, but am I glad that I read it? Kinda. And so I gave it 3.5 stars because it's not a 3, but it's definitely not a 4. So I was like, 3.5 feels right. Because, you know, that's really what a rating is. It's just, what do I feel like this book is worthy of? So like a 3.75 stars, for example, Lavender House by Lev A.C. Rosen. Lavender House was an interesting book, but I found the side characters in that book far more compelling than the plot itself. Like the actual plot of the story, the murder mystery, the noir aspect did not work for me because that's not a thing I like to read, but I found the characters in this book so fascinating that it was easily a 3.75 star. Like it was definitely close to a 4, but it didn't quite get there because this plot did not really do much for me. And then again, like a book that's a 4 is really, really good. Like that's a book that I really enjoyed. I might read it again. Like this is a book that I think is really solid. It's really good. The characters are interesting. The plot was great. Like I was invested in it, but it's missing something that would make it a 5. And so like, again, like a 4.5 for me was Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig. I really liked it. I still think about it. I read that book months ago and I want to read more by this author. But was this a 5? Not really. It was close. Like it was almost there. And I want to read more of his stuff because I feel like something he writes might be a 5, but it just didn't quite hit that. And like a 5 star for me, going forward anyway, is a book that made me really think. It was really thought-provoking. A 5 star is one that I'm like, wow, that book has changed my life in some way because I read it. Like that is a book that I will turn to again and again, like The Book Thief, Babel. Those are 5-star books for me because those books I want to read multiple times. Like the Ark of the Scythe series is an easy 5. Like those are stories that I feel like everyone should read. Like I want to like put that book in everyone's hand. I think going forward, my ratings are definitely going to be a lot more with half stars. Like I feel like I'm going to use that so much more. Let me know down below in the comments, like how do you rate books? What makes a book a 5 star for you? And do you rate lower than a 2? I would love to know like what your rating system looks like. Thanks so much for watching and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.